Hi, I'm Joe from MULE Expedition Outfitters, and we're going to do a quick walk around of our Dodge Ram 2500 that we built here for the rally. So this was a 2016 single cab, long bed 2500, basically bone stock, tradesman, no power options whatsoever. It's running a 6.4 liter gas Hemi engine. Got into the shop, basically stripped it down, installed the 3-inch AEV suspension. We supplemented it with some 5,000-pound airbags with the built-in bump stops, and those airbags are connected to a custom-designed air leveling system that we can level from the cab or through a smartphone from inside the camper. We swapped out the Bilstein shocks with some shocks from ADS, quite a bit beefier, and they were valved for the extra load of the camper and the flatbed. So we can take a peek at those when we do the rest of the walk around. The rest of it currently is stock. Future plans are to upgrade the gears and install ARB air lockers. Right now we're just running stock gear ratios and stock differentials in there. The rear winch setup here is a custom MULE design. It's got a factor 55 XXL flat link. It's got a come up 12.5 winch with the winch controller was actually moved out to the bumper for access, and then you've got your clutch right here, easy access. 1/2-inch steel gives you a good recovery point off the back of the truck, and we knew if we had to move this thing we were going to be pulling pretty hard, so there's basically you can put 2 D shackles through here or 7/8 bolt for pulling. And you've also got the MULE recovery link back there for an additional point. This is a Norweld flatbed. This is the deluxe flatbed from Norweld of Australia. It's got the integrated drawer in the rear, 4 storage boxes, 1 in each corner, and a 40-liter water tank, also integrated kind of midship on the cab there, which gives you extra water for those longer trips out in the desert and stuff like that. Went pretty low key with the lighting. The LED package from Norweld is their standard LED taillight assembly. We did add the Rigid Industries rock lights as backup lights, which are tied into the reverse. Obviously these are also standard option on the deluxe trays. You got storage there, here. Oh, this one's locked, sorry. So you got storage boxes on all 4 corners. And in addition, we added the tunnel box from Norweld. This is also an option. And we did a custom fuel filler inside the tunnel box for security. And then this is a custom electrical panel, not quite finished yet, but it gives us the ability to control power distribution around the truck. So we've got a air compressor breaker, power to the camper on a 40-amp breaker. This is also set up for a future second lithium battery, which will be stored inside the tunnel box, and then an auxiliary, so we can have an auxiliary port here for basically just powering other things, you know, like lights and things outside the camper. But this all folds down, locks up for security, you know, pretty nice setup, you know, extra storage. So this is an 8-foot bed with a 6-foot camper, and we'll get to the camper part last. This is a Hawk. Normally you'd have a Granby on an 8-foot, but with the tunnel box it takes up the extra space there. We do have air chucks on both sides. These are ARB's remote air chuck mounts, and they're stainless steel lines. So we're running basically on the rubber and wheel side, we're running the Yokohama 40-inch XMTs. It's their new aggressive tread extreme mud terrain tire. Those are fitted up on a set of AEV Catlas. It's a 17-inch by 8.5 wide rim. It's a specific rim designed by AEV for running 40s and specifically for the Ram. It's got the 8-lug pattern. They are color matched to the camper and truck. So normally they come in a silver, matte black, and a couple of other colors, but you can paint match them. Of course, graphics all done by Auto Trim, design out of Kent, Washington. Did a great job. The graphics do tell quite a story here. So it's basically Seattle skyline for folks who aren't familiar with it, with Mount Rainier in the background. And then as you pan back, you get into the mountainscape of Baja, Mexico. So the Gigantes Mountains in Baja are my favorite place that we like to go to. So the truck was kind of built for that purpose, being it is the Baja Runner. Inside, not too many mods. We did get the seats reupholstered with catskin leather, so they're heated and just really nice quality. This is actually the catskin's newest seat covering, super thick, because we do have the dog in the cab with us on trips, so want to make sure it can stand up to his claws and stuff like that. Inside, other than the Switch Pro unit we got here, basically doing all the control work of controlling airbags up and down and dump and the lights and lockers and air compressor. We did upgrade to a 10.5-inch flat screen, which actually works out pretty nice. It does all the climate control stuff, and basically it converted the tradesman little AM/FM radio to something that's really functional for just basically controlling everything and being able to get stats off the engine. One key part of the suspension to make this truck really function off-road was the addition of the ADS 2.5-inch piggyback shocks, which we've got on all 4 corners. These shocks were specifically valved for this truck, for the weight we were carrying and for the suspension travel we were expecting out of the truck. Upgraded the headlights. These are the new Mopar, kind of the new style headlights with the kind of blacked out inners. Just again, more of an aesthetic kind of a thing. We do have the AEV heat reduction hood. This is running a 6.4 gas motor, so it does produce quite a bit of heat, and just keeping everything cool was a big part of, especially if we're traveling down in Baja in the summer. The front bumpers, the AEV Prospector, it's got the additional extensions for the high mark fender flares. These high mark fender flares were key in keeping the truck low, but still stuffing 40s. Hard to do a build like this without getting the truck more, higher than it needs to be in terms of the suspension. So with all the weight, we wanted to keep it as low as possible and still not rub. So the high mark fender flares were a key component to being able to do that. AEVs, beautiful ram front bumper with the come up. This is a 16.5 with synthetic cable. Again, another factor 55 XXL flat link to do all the dirty work. As you can see here, we've got basically a high lift recovery point, which works perfect with the new ARB jack. This jack is more than enough to lift the front corner, side corner of the vehicle for a change in a flat. Relocated the winch control to the hood here, or to the grill rather. Again, just to make things easy. You don't have to pop the hood to access the winch solenoid. The solenoid actually sits behind the grill here on a custom mount, and just gives us easy access, just like on the rear. We like things to be easy. So on the front of the truck, obviously same thing, ADS shocks, giving us a really nice ride. And we've got kind of changed out the standard whip antenna for a little stubby guy here, and that kind of works well with the AEV snorkel. Other side of the tunnel box, again, this is a product made by Norweld of Australia. Fits a 40-inch tire pretty well and allows you to run a full-size spare. This is a 2019 flatbed Hawk made by 4 Wheel Campers out of Sacramento, California. The camper is pretty well outfitted with options. We've got 160 watts of solar on the roof. We do have the side steps for accessing the roof, given the height of the vehicle. It is equipped with a hot water tank, 6-gallon hot water tank, 20-gallon fresh water tank, and it's got the built-in furnace as well. So you've got a hot water inside the truck, and it also has an exterior shower. So if you need to shower up after hiking or mountain biking or whatever. You also get the option for the rear spots. These guys here light up the back of the camper when we're accessing the rear drawer or doing any kind of recovery stuff on the back of the vehicle. Driver's side is where all the sort of utility stuff happens. This is your hot and cold shower, so basically you can plug your shower handle in there and dial up the temperature if you want. We've got shore power. This is a standard feature in all the 4-wheel campers, whether it's a flatbed or a slide-in, as long as you don't get the shell and you get a standard camper like this. This is the back side of the furnace, the hot water heater, and this is your potable water fill. It's all under key, and your drain for your gray water coming off of the sink. And then of course your drain for basically draining the tank if you need to winterize it. So here we are inside the Hawk. This is again, normally would be mounted on a 6-foot bed, full-size truck, but with the tunnel box, 8-foot bed, this was the perfect fit for us. Pretty much the stock layout for the flatbed camper. You got loads of storage under both seats, as well as the footwell storage down here, which works great for shoes and other stuff. This rear seat does convert into a bed by just dropping the table down and then moving the cushions around. Moving towards the front, we did go with the integrated or low profile sink and stove unit. That's another option from 4-wheel. We really like it. A, it looks great, but B, it also gives you sort of the use of this whole flat space versus having the standard option is to have a raised sink and raised stove. So in both of the campers we've had over the last few years, we've always gone with the flush mount sink and stove, which just really works great for us. We do have the weather pack in here, so in addition to the standard canvas, you got your window there to kind of seal it off but still get light. You got your canvas to block out for for privacy, and then of course you got your weather pack, which helps retain heat. And we've camped in this camper in temperatures, not this one specifically, but another one down to 19, 15 degrees outside, and comfortably slept in here with the furnace running. So that's been great. One other really great feature about the flatbed is the storage. This is something that's only an option right now that's only on the flatbed campers, and that's this under bed storage, which is huge. I mean, you can pack clothes. Right now we just have the 2 cushions that make up the remainder of the bed once you pull the bed out. But this works great for putting blankets and clothes and just keeping things organized. Again, only on the flatbeds currently, but we're thinking it might end up being a standard option on the regular slide-ins at some point. Again, this is the bed platform. Slides out to give you that little bit of extra space. 4-wheel does offer a king version, which would come out another 18 inches or so and give you a couple more feet of usable space there. This camper's wide enough for a normal 6-foot person to sleep crossways. Fits us, 2 adults and big dog perfectly, so works good. Other than that, 2 powered roof vents. Keep it cool in the summer and allow you to ventilate the moisture in the winter. So again, these are 3-speed, and they go both forward and reversed, which work great for just keeping it cool. Really low power draw, and perfect setup. Got tons of storage. This is all for dry goods and stuff. We did do a couple of modifications to the truck. This is normally your battery box. We did move the battery from this location to the cupboard right here. We installed a 100 amp hour lithium battery into the, normally this would just be a dry storage, but given the accessibility, it seemed like it made more sense to put the battery down there. In addition to that, the other upgrades that we did was we installed the Red Arc Power Manager 30. And this basically, for us, running a lithium battery, it replaces pretty much all of the electronics that the 4-wheel packages stock with the campers. This worked for us. The stuff that 4-wheel includes with their camper builds is more than adequate. It does everything that this single unit does, but we wanted a little more of a readout here. It tells us what our total charge is. So basically we got 100% charge. Tells us we're drawing right now we're pulling in 28.4 volts of solar, and it tells us how many amps we're using on the system, and gives us other information about battery temperature. Currently says we're in a float charge, and the primary battery or the house battery is at 13.6 volts. It'll also tell you if you've got things running, how long you have until the battery runs flat, which is a nice little feature. Again, a little bit of extra customization that we did for this particular camper. Not normally something on a 4-wheel camper build, but but certainly something we can do for you at MULE if you want to get that done.